There is a battle we wage every day, a battle that begins the moment we wake and lingers until we sleep. It is an invisible war, fought in silence, with no spectators to cheer us on. It is not a battle against the world, against fate, or against some external force. No. The battlefield is within us, in the recesses of our minds and souls, and our enemy is procrastination, the subtle thief of time and the assassin of potential. Procrastination is not just the act of delaying tasks. It is a symptom of something deeper, an avoidance of discomfort, a refusal to confront our weaknesses, and a surrender to fleeting emotions that deter us from the pursuit of what truly matters. We all experience this. We know what must be done, yet we hesitate. We tell ourselves that we will begin tomorrow, but when tomorrow comes, the same excuses arise, and the cycle continues. We feel this burden, this weight, but we are not alone in our struggle. For centuries, philosophers, particularly the Stoics, have grappled with the very same human tendencies we face today. They, too, understood the pull of procrastination, but more importantly, they understood how to defeat it, once and for all. Not through force or self-loathing, but through wisdom, self-mastery, and an unshakable understanding of human nature. The Stoic way offers us a path, a timeless approach, rooted in rationality and virtue, that can empower us to rise above procrastination. To stop delaying, to take action, to seize control over our lives. But make no mistake, this path is not an easy one. It requires us to confront the most difficult opponent of all, ourselves. The nature of procrastination, a Stoic perspective. Before we can conquer procrastination, we must first understand it. Procrastination is not merely a habit, it is a form of self-deception. It seduces us with promises of comfort, of escape, and of ease. It whispers in our ears, telling us that there will be more time later, that now is not the right moment. Yet, the Stoics knew better. Seneca, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, warned us against this fallacy of deferred action. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it, he wrote in his letter on the shortness of life. We procrastinate because we believe we have more time than we truly do. We act as if tomorrow is guaranteed, but tomorrow is not ours to command. Time is the most precious resource we have, and it is finite. Each moment we waste in avoidance, in delay, is a moment we will never regain. But why do we procrastinate? Why do we willingly deceive ourselves? The Stoics understood that procrastination arises from a conflict within us, between our desires and our reason. At its core, procrastination is an emotional response. We fear discomfort, failure, and uncertainty, so we seek refuge in distractions and temporary pleasures. Our emotions cloud our judgment, making us forget what is truly important. Epictetus, another Stoic sage, taught that our primary task as human beings is to learn to distinguish between what is within our control and what is not. Procrastination occurs when we focus on what is beyond our control, whether it is the fear of failure, the opinions of others, or the enormity of the task before us. We become paralyzed by these concerns, instead of focusing on the one thing we can control, our own actions, right here, in this present moment. In his discourses, Epictetus reminds us, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. We procrastinate because we fear judgment, because we fear making mistakes. But the Stoic approach teaches us that the opinions of others, the possibility of failure, these are not within our control. What is within our control is whether we act, whether we take the next step. The enemy within, overcoming destructive emotions. At the heart of procrastination lies something more insidious, destructive emotions. These emotions, fear, doubt, laziness, and the yearning for comfort, are the real enemies we must confront. They keep us trapped in the cycle of delay and avoidance. The Stoics called these emotional disturbances passions, and they believed that these passions must be subdued if we are to live virtuous, fulfilling lives. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor of Rome, spent much of his life grappling with such emotions. In his Meditations, he wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The Stoic approach teaches us that procrastination is not something external, it is a manifestation of our internal turmoil. The fear of failure, the desire for comfort, the paralysis of indecision. All these are forms of emotional turbulence that prevent us from taking action. But we are not slaves to these emotions. The Stoics believed that through reason we can overcome our destructive passions. The key lies in cultivating apatheia, a state of inner calm and freedom from emotional disturbance. This does not mean we become indifferent to the world or our responsibilities. Rather, it means that we learn to rise above the emotional impulses that lead us astray. We learn to act not out of fear or desire, but out of rational choice. The Stoics taught us to question our emotions, to hold them up to the light of reason. Is this fear truly justified? Is this desire for comfort worth the cost of inaction? In most cases, when we subject our emotions to rational scrutiny, we find that they are fleeting, irrational, and unworthy of dictating our actions. The Stoic philosopher Cleanthes once said, "Lead me, O Zeus, and thou, O destiny, the way that I am appointed to go, and if I refuse to go, I will follow, dragging my feet." Procrastination is the act of dragging our feet. But through the cultivation of inner fortitude, through the practice of rationality, we can stop dragging. We can rise and walk willingly toward our purpose, free from the chains of destructive emotions. Taking action, the power of the present moment. One of the central tenets of Stoicism is the importance of the present moment. The past is gone, the future is uncertain, and the only time we have control over is now. This is the antidote to procrastination. The Stoics urged us to live in the present, to focus on what can be done now, in this very moment. Seneca put it simply, begin at once to live, and count each separate day as a separate life. We often procrastinate because we are overwhelmed by the enormity of a task or the uncertainty of the future. But the Stoic approach reminds us that we need not worry about the future, for the future is not in our control. What is in our control is whether we act right now, in this moment. The Stoics called this practice premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of adversity. It involves preparing ourselves mentally for the challenges ahead, so that we are not caught off guard when they arise. When faced with a difficult task, instead of delaying, the Stoic prepares by imagining the worst possible outcome and then accepting it. By doing so, we strip the task of its power to intimidate us. We remove the fear and uncertainty that fuel procrastination. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do not act as if you had 10,000 years to live. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good." Time is slipping through our fingers every second, and the Stoic understands that to delay action is to squander the only resource we truly possess, this present moment. When we feel the pull of procrastination, we must remind ourselves of this truth: the future is uncertain, but the present is ours to command. The Stoic approach is to take immediate action, not with haste, but with purpose. We do not need to complete the entire journey in one step. We only need to take the next step, here and now. Discipline, the foundation of self-mastery. At the heart of Stoicism lies the principle of self-mastery. To conquer procrastination, we must first learn to master ourselves. The Stoics taught that discipline is the foundation of a virtuous life. Without discipline, we are at the mercy of our emotions, our impulses, and the distractions of the world around us. Epictetus famously said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Procrastination is a form of self-enslavement. It is the surrender of our agency to fleeting emotions and external circumstances. But through discipline, we can reclaim our freedom. We can train ourselves to act in accordance with reason rather than emotion. Discipline is not about punishing ourselves or forcing ourselves to work beyond our limits. It is about creating habits and routines that align with our values and goals. The Stoics understood that small, consistent actions lead to great outcomes. They practiced daily reflection, meditation, and preparation for the challenges of life. The Stoic philosopher Musonius Rufus taught that discipline is a form of training for the mind and soul, just as physical exercise is training for the body. He said, "What good is it if a man masters wrestling or running or any other sport when he is subject to anger, fear, envy, and desire?" The Stoic approach is to train the mind to overcome these destructive passions, to cultivate the discipline needed to take action in the face of discomfort and uncertainty. Through discipline, we can break the cycle of procrastination. We can develop the habit of acting, even when we don't feel like it. We can learn to push through discomfort and doubt, knowing that these are temporary obstacles, while the rewards of action are lasting. The ultimate purpose, living in accordance with nature. In Stoicism, the ultimate goal is not just to defeat procrastination for the sake of productivity. The ultimate goal is to live in accordance with nature, to align our actions with our true purpose as rational, virtuous beings. Procrastination is a barrier to this purpose, because it prevents us from fulfilling our potential and contributing to the greater good. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, wrote, "Nature has not blended you into existence to postpone the active part of life until later, but to engage in it immediately." Procrastination keeps us from engaging in the active part of life. It keeps us from realizing our true potential, from living a life of virtue and purpose. To defeat procrastination once and for all, we must remember that our time on this earth is limited. We have been given the gift of reason, the ability to choose our actions, and the capacity to live in accordance with our nature. It is up to us to use this gift wisely, to take action now, and to live each day with intention and purpose. Conclusion: the Stoic path to action. The Stoic approach to defeating procrastination is not a quick fix. It is not a simple trick or life hack. It is a philosophy, a way of life, that requires us to confront our deepest fears, desires, and emotions. It requires us to cultivate discipline, to live in the present, and to act in accordance with reason and virtue. We, as aspiring Stoics, understand that procrastination is a battle we face within ourselves. But we also understand that we are not helpless. We have the tools, the wisdom, and the strength to overcome it. Through self-mastery, we can rise above the distractions and emotional disturbances that hold us back. Through discipline, we can take consistent action even when it is difficult. And through the practice of Stoic principles, we can live lives of purpose, fulfillment, and virtue. As we conclude this reflection, let us remember the words of Epictetus: "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. The time to act is now. Let us not wait for tomorrow may never come. Let us defeat procrastination once and for all, and in doing so, live the lives we were meant to live.